Hey there, Tone Chasers! Welcome back to another episode of Tone Chase Basement. Now here from 42 Gear Street 6, and welcome here our new friend Fenn from Laney. And today we're checking out one of their newest products, the Lionheart, which is a pedalboard amp, and it is based on the original tube amp to bring those flavors of the Lionheart tube amp into a pedal-friendly format. Fenn will say about a couple of things, how they came up with the idea, why it is good to have these kind of formats nowadays, and what this little beast is capable of. So, a couple of words, please.
So, it started because real estate on stage is very limited, you know. A lot of people do lots of flying, like, you know, gig space is smaller. You want to go to one gig with your guitar bag and nothing else, right? So we thought the idea, well, we're very good at making valve amps, tube amps, however you want to call them. We're British, so it's valve, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we were like, well, why don't we try and make something that really works? So we had an initial iteration. So these are the Black Country Customs loud pedals.
Yep.
So we had one originally called the Lionheart Foundry. It's a smaller pedal, and anything that is Black Country Customs means it's built in England at the Laney factory. And we were like, well, the original Lionheart Foundry loud pedal was good, but we were like, well, surely we should do a Lionheart one, because some people don't want as high a gain stages as an Lionheart can produce. Mm-hmm. So we thought, well, let's go to some of our greatest players who work on Lionheart, who work on Ironheart. And for the Lionheart, we decided to work with the glorious man that is Tom Quayle.
Tom Quayle, yeah, of course.
And we took the initial concept of this to Tom, and we said, just plug it in, see what you think, blind test. And he was blown away. He said it was very, very tricky for him to differentiate between the valve combo that he likes, so the L20T 212, and then this. So that was all the confirmation we needed.
And how did it work out eventually? So you brought him a final product, or did he had some word in it, how to fine-tune it, how to voice it? Yeah. Or was it like, you know, here is a pedal, will you give your name for it? Or
yeah, well, we had an iteration of what we wanted the Lionheart pedal to be. So there are two. There's the Lionheart, which is this one, and there's the Ironheart. And we knew that we wanted to make them to be different things, because they're 60 watt solid state amplifier. But we took the Lionheart to Tom, a rough idea, an iteration of it, an early concept, if you like. And he said, well, you need to tweak this bit and this bit, and we worked with him. So that's why it's a collaboration pedal.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we wanted to make sure that, you know, Tom knows the amp as good as we know the amp, because he actually uses it, he tours with it, he plays it with it all around the world. So we wanted to make sure that it got across the actual feel of a real Lionheart, but in a form that you can just chuck in a gig bag and go.
Exactly.
And I feel like we've really, really encapsulated it here, but by adding the other elements on the back panel, so like the layers, so the Laney Advanced Impulse Response, and the opportunity to add a USB-C, so you can change the impulse responses if you want, but also not being bogged down with the idea of you have to have an impulse response. So actually having an off switch as well, so you can just run it as an amp into a cabinet.
Yeah, so that is one of the biggest upsides of this pedal, because you can just connect it directly into a real cabinet, so you can feel this air pushing feeling. And also it's flexible, even if you just connect it directly to a PA system, even on stage, so you don't have to mic the actual cab. Use two outputs, one the DI output for the IRs directly to the PA system, and one for your own monitoring on stage, and it fits in your pedalboard bag on your pedalboard. So that's really, really something that is useful and practical nowadays. I tried and played the original Lionheart a couple of years ago, and I really liked that voicing, and this is a solid state pedal amp that I understood, but still delivers that valve flavor, tube flavor to it, and that is something that is, was it hard to catch and capture it, to recreate it? Is it digital or only just
Well, it was hard, but that's why we're magicians. That's why we're so clever.
So that kind of secrets you're not giving away. Yeah. Okay, now let's just talk about a few things and options on this pedal. So you have 2 channels on it.
Yeah.
Both have gain and volume. And both channels have bright and dark switches, but as I can see, it's got 3 positions. So not only bright and dark, but there's a middle switch, middle position. What does middle position do?
So the middle position is just exactly what the amp could possibly do. So it's as a pure representation of this pedal without any sort of tonal switching or changes. But an example, if you're playing a guitar with a single coil, sometimes it might be a bit bright, and instead of messing with your EQs, because you will have tuned your EQs to your playing style, you can just go click to make it a little darker. Or if you're playing something with a humbucker that may be a little bit warmer towards the bottom end, you can just go click, a little bit brighter.
Yeah, all right, let's hear some tones from it. So we are currently on channel 1. Put the gain around on 3 and volume on 12 o'clock. There is one 3-band EQ, which is, I suppose, dedicated to both of the channels.
Yeah.
Let's put them on at 12 o'clock as well. There is also a boost in it, which is not engaged currently. It has a red knob for it. There is a tone knob, which is, I suppose, also for both channels, and it's overall presence kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And there is a built-in reverb. The reverb is digital, or is there a spring in it?
It's digital, but it's an emulation of the spring.
Yeah.
Very quickly, the spring reverb that is on this is actually the reverb we've taken from the Black Country Customs Secret Path reverb pedal. So it's, but yeah, see what you think.
All right, so we are in normal switch position now, so let's... We joked about it yesterday, right out the bat. That's the phrase. Right out the bat, it sounds glorious. It sounds chimey. It sounds as I remember how a Laney amp sounds. So, and interestingly, even though we are now connected through the IR mode, it's got that response that you would expect from a quality IR. That is, nowadays there are plenty of gear that you can buy and you can get with built-in IRs and everything, but most of them are just T, and you can always load in your beloved IRs into them. You can also do it with this one, but for this one I don't feel that it's needed, because first impression is that the built-in IR is just amazing. Yeah, it is responsive, dynamic, has that clarity and presence, clearness enough. So we're going to go a little bit dark. So that is what you mentioned about the single coils. So we are in the single coil position here. So that was the normal previously, now let's see a little bit darker. Noticeably darker, yeah, it's the...
Just a little bit thicker.
Yeah, the upper mid-range is like lowered. And it's also like, it's not only scooped the higher mids, but also boosted the lower mids, kind of thing. So it's...
And then in the inversion, to go bright, it does the opposite.
Let's do that. Yeah, but for a single coil, it's a bit ear piercing. So, for example, if you switch out to a humbucker, then it gets already this natural breakup sound. Is there a difference between the channels? So there is channel 1, channel 2. Is there a difference in gain stage, or are they the same? You can just dial them differently.
Yeah, same, so you can dial them differently, because obviously if you're just using that at a gig and you want, right, I need to bring in a different flavour from the verse to the chorus, and then you come to a solo, it's like, well, you want two different things there, but then you come to a solo, it's like, well, usually you'd have only a choice between two channels, whereas then we had the boost, and you can go, right, verse, solo, verse, chorus, into a solo, you've got a boost as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the boost on that is actually from our Black Country Custom Steel Park boost, which is a treble boost, essentially.
All right.
But that will not add too much gain to the signal. That will just boost what you're already selecting it to do on the channel over there. So
yeah. So let's just hear what it adds. Adds a little bit brightness to it and a little bit honk. So, but it's still natural. It's not like let's just boost a little bit more.
So it cuts through, really.
Yeah. Yeah, it really cuts through the mix easily if it's used in a band context. So, and if you switch it to humbuckers and boost it a little bit more, then, and we are still at low gain here at channel 1, around 3. Let's raise it a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. Yeah, it's got that crunch to it. It's got that crunch to it and attack. So that, guys, is really something, because that saves you already one space less on your pedal board, because actually you don't need all those fancy clones or natural transparent overdrives, because this one is pretty natural but still adds that character to it and a little bit of mid heaviness so that it cuts through. So yeah, it's practical that you have that built in, and if it's after that kind of overdrive that you just told about, then it's also a quality one.
But I also think, because obviously everybody's got a million pedals on a board these days, of course you have, because pedals are amazing, but it just makes sure that you've got a solid, reliable place to start with.
Exactly.
Whether you want to push things through the effects loop, which it has, or whether you want to push it through the front end, which you can do, and it's going to react a little bit differently to do that. But the old saying is, like, this is why we certainly have always thought, is the harder you can hit the front end of an amp, the better it's going to sound on the back end of it.
Yeah.
And that's why putting the boost in there, that is, you know, if you like the boost of this, you can go and buy the Black Country Customs Steel Part pedal.
Exactly.
And then you have more variations on that. You know, it's essentially all of our pedals are 3 pedals in one, essentially. It's 3 form factor. Same with the Reverb, you go get this secret path, you know, but for what this needs to be for most people, it's a perfect starting platform. It's
not just a perfect starting platform, but it is actually 4 pedals in one, because it's dual channel, so you can set up a clean tone for your, I don't know, clean songs for verses, and then if you need a distortion channel, then let's go channel 2 gain all the way up, and let's see what happens then. And if you boost it. Oh yeah, it's got punch to it.
Yeah.
And it's nice. Let's switch it to a little bit darker. Yeah, we didn't even try the EQ knobs, so that's everything on 12, and it sounds already full and really nice sounding. So I suppose, is it on purpose that I mean, of course, it comes in handy that when you set everything on 12, that it's already a good reference starting point, and not like it needs it needs to boost the trebles to be boosted to come out.
Exactly, because obviously everybody is going to sound a little bit different. Everybody has their natural preferences when it comes to their EQ settings, and you know, each guitar you play is going to maybe want a little tweak, maybe, but for us it's just like you just need to get a rough general. It needs to be pretty good at set 12 on everything. Yeah. And I think that what that achieves. But the other good thing with it, it's got full MIDI capabilities on the back. Oh. So if you are running a board and you want to incorporate a MIDI switcher, it can do that as well.
It can do MIDI as well. I never did MIDI. I never do MIDI, so that's too complicated science fiction for me, and Same. It's too much time to dive into it. But if you're into it, of course, you can do it with this one. Let's boost the mids a little bit.
But as an example, that's how Tom Quayle uses it. So he's got his other pedals on his board, and he's got a little MIDI switcher, and he brings it in and out to different areas of what he needs, because you don't want to be doing the tap dance on a pedal board. You want to be engaging with the audience and getting across your message. So
that really comes in handy then.
Yeah, if you use MIDI, but if you don't, you can just use it as a normal amp as well.
Yeah, exactly. I'm more old school kind of guy, so.
Yeah, you bring the reverb in as well, because
yeah, the reverb is a spring, so when you can hear the dripping. Yeah.
That's one thing that people love about the Lionheart, the valve amp, the proper combos, is it's got a gorgeous spring reverb in it. Not a real one; it's a digital.
Yeah,
version.
but it really
reacts in the way that you would want.
Yeah, exactly.
But no chance of it breaking.
It's got ambience to it, and you mentioned the FX loop in it. So it's the FX loop before the reverb. So. Yeah. So the reverb comes in the end, even if you use like modulations or delays. Yeah. If you connect it, then the reverb comes after it.
Yep.
The boost is, of course, in front of everything. So yeah.
And also, well, one thing we haven't mentioned. Just look how beautiful it is.
It is. It is. I didn't mention it. I mentioned it before the camera started rolling. It's blue metallic with this silver board here. I mean, it's gorgeous. The boost makes a difference. It's red, so you know there are hot things in it. So of course I cannot see here now on the back because it's connected that way. But there's an XLR for the DI.
XLR for DI with the switchable 1x12 cab simulation, 4x12 cab simulation, or off. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice.
You got a headphone out on there as well. USB.
Headphone out.
Yeah, so you can just, if you've got a power source, you can just plug this in, headphones on, and you've got that.
So it's also really great practicing platform, because if you don't connect anything to it, there is no like load issues or something like that. So you can connect it directly to your headphones without being afraid that it will get broken like some preamps do.
The good thing with having the USB-C on it is we've got the Laney Advanced Impulse Response app for the desktop, and you can bring in your own impulse responses, but because it's got the DI, or you can use the USB-C, you can record with it as well, so you can get really quick, fast tones recorded. And you know, if you've got a Mac, you've got GarageBand for free, comes with the Mac, you can start recording.
Of course, so that's amazing.
Yeah. And it's sub 500 anywhere that you go. So I know it's £400, it's €449, and then it's between that in the States as well.
Yeah, but for that kind of quality, not just sound quality, but also build quality, I mean, that's really affordable. I'm not going to say cheap, but it's affordable.
Yeah,
but if you want quality, you have to.
It's made in England as well. You literally make it in Birmingham. You know, like.
It's not from the Far East as some others.
Which isn't a bad thing, but you know, this is hand built by 3 people. Shout out Dave, Pete, Diane. Hi.
Hi.
Those 3 people make these products. And
support local people. Support local people. Support local production. That is all about today. I mean, I am one of those who support it. Please support it too. So, I'm amazed. I like it very much. Thank you for your help and your guest appearance here at Tone Chase Basement and 42 Studios.
Mate, thank you.
So,
I hope I'm not too sunburnt, because Henning was talking to us yesterday in the sun, and I'm very English, and I realised I was stood on the sun to this side of my head, and I looked in the mirror and I thought, oh God, I've got to do the video with Rob, and I look like the red man, but it's all good. Yeah.
At least we're not sweating today because it was very warm the last couple of days. So yeah.
But you'll be sweating when you hear the awesome tones coming out of this.
Yeah, and once again, good work, Laney.
Thank you very much.
See you next time. Keep chasing that tone.